And which of the songs or maybe lyrics really resonated with you?
Well, that would be a good example. But I really fell in love with Alpenglow really fast, even though I didn't get the title at first. But I got the feeling and the meaning of the song. I had to grow into the title and see where it stood for as a good metaphor for everything. Yeah, Ilan actually also immediately gave that feeling of, wow, we didn't choose it for nothing. That song just, when we were rehearsing it, we played it again and again, or we would really usually end our days with, shall we just end with Ilan because it feels so nice. And it does, it really gives you a smile also when you're playing it. And yeah, but to sing the heavier stuff like Weak Fantasy or, oh, there we go again. Not coming up with the title. The fourth track. I don't know if you have the, but those songs really are, you know, much more. Yours is an Empty Hope. That's it. Really, wow, got that aggression out, and also have quite some lyrics that I actually could identify as well. So, yeah, it was really cool to also bring out the heavier side and even the growly voice in the chorus of Yours is an Empty Hope. So, yeah.
And previously you have said that Ghost Love Score is your favorite Nightwish song. With this album, is that still the same?
I don't know. I mean, you always have a favorite, or at least that works for me that way, like, because you grow into it. And with a new album, you sort of equally love every song because they've had an equal amount of attention and love put into them. As soon as you start playing it live, you might just end up having favorites or songs that are much more suitable for live that really became my favorite live song, or the song that if I have to play one song at home with a good headset, I would play that one. So I think it would be more colored, like, you know, I really hate to pick favorites because Ghost Love Score, yes, it has a very special place in my heart, but so many other songs do as well. So.
Okay. Well, part of the album is about what each person's meaning of life is. How do you feel in meaning of life? What is it that for you?
Well, for me it would be to live life to the fullest. Figure out what makes you tick, what makes you do the things you do. Why? Yeah, and really do that and focus on that. Drop the rest that doesn't interest that much or stresses you out, and try to focus on what really makes you going. With people you love in your life, without hurting people, enjoy it to the fullest, and be open to the splendor of the everyday wonders right around you.
Okay. Of course, there have been previous Nightwish singers, and they have left their marks on those albums. And how did you find your own style, but also kind of take into account the other two styles?
Well, I don't really think of the styles of other singers. I more think of what the song is asking for. I have so much style of my own, fortunately, thanks to the history I have, that it would feel unnatural for me to sort of do a karaoke version of a song. So from the get-go, I really approached the songs through my eyes and listened to what the song was kind of asking for. And sometimes there's a little more of the Tarja element, and sometimes there's a little more of the Annette element. But I more think that those are just colors within my voice that I've been using in all kinds of other bands and projects that I've been involved in, and they come out the way the songs sort of ask for. So that's how I've been looking at it.
Okay. Well, you've already mentioned you have a very dynamic voice. You can do a lot. How did Tuomas push you in this process to get it out?
Well, if there's one thing I have not been using all that much, it's more of a lower, softer singing. Really, really soft sometimes, very ethereal. And actually with the last 2 albums I've been working on with my own band ReVamp, it was way more towards all the aggression side. I've been experimenting with rough singing and growling and a lot of loud and aggressive stuff. And maybe everything comes with counter moves. I was really actually myself sort of in need of something a bit more soft sometimes. And this album really has a lot of dynamics within the songs, and it really was possible for me to bring out that, you know, relatively newly found aggressive sound, but it really triggered me to the opposite as well. Example again is Our Decades in the Sun, where it really had to be very soft and intimate and small in order to come out. And if there's one thing he triggered me, not just in using the versatility of my sound, it's really there in the lower, softer and ethereal singing.
You've been part of the band for, well, I guess 2 or 3 years now. I mean, with the touring and all.
Yep, 2.5 indeed.
You of course already have experience, but what has being with Nightwish taught you?
Ooh, a lot. But for me, it was very good to see that despite how big this band is and how long they've been around, it's an extremely down-to-earth group of people who never take anything for granted and see humble behavior as an importance. And that was something that I highly value, and it's fantastic to learn from. Also, you know, getting into a band that's bigger, to keep my Dutch feet on, you know, the ground. Not that I think that I have the personality to really drift off, but it's just fantastic to see and learn from. When we were in the studio or working on these songs, of course, when you play songs that are already there, you notice when everybody's playing how well they can play. There's a musicality that obviously shines through, but when you start to work on new material, there's a whole new level that comes out, and I was just blown away by it. For example, Marco and his backing vocals. That was something really, really great. I'd be singing the vocal lines, and he would, perhaps we could do, some kind of second voice there, or the harmony. Give me a minute, and then with this guitar, he was searching for some notes, processing things in his head. Okay, I think I got it. Sing it. Then he would just sing the most fantastic harmonies that, sometimes are the obvious ones, but very often are extremely creative and really doing something with the song that wouldn't have happened if he didn't. And people can hear things, see things on a level that was very, very inspiring and also triggered to bring the best out in me. Yeah, that would be it, definitely.
And well, you already knew the guys before you entered the band, but then at some point you get in, you're with them constantly. How was that for you? Was the dynamic instantly good, or?
Yeah, actually, yeah. But that was also because of the start being so rough, band in full-on survival mode, me having barely any time to prepare the first show. You're 100% dependent on each other. We want to do this show, and we will, have to do it. So yeah, there's barely any time for real personal stuff to start with, because I was just, going through the songs all the time, and you feel the fear and you feel the stress that was in that group. You feel your own fear, and this is quite something. That I think connected us already from the beginning off. And I also noticed that we could tap into this sort of familiar feeling of like, if you have something to look back to, remember this, remember that, or that made things so much easier. And I fortunately had no time to really think about things too much. I remember a short moment in the hotel room before I actually joined the guys into the Nightliner that I thought, but what if I don't connect? And they're a bunch of Finnish guys and I'm this Dutch girl, and what if it doesn't work at all and I don't feel nice, or maybe they don't even really like me, they just had to find someone, and all kinds of ghosts started to whisper in my ears, but none of that happened. It all indeed went smooth, easy, with big respect for each other, and from that grew big appreciation and respect and trust more and more, and we just have genuine fun.
Turned out for the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does it make you think about the times with After Forever sometimes?
Yes and no. This group of people is very different. When I joined Nightwish, I was 16, and it started with After Forever, yeah, and it stopped when I was 25 or 6. I'm going to be 34 next month, and so those things change. You know, you change as well. Also, this entire group is a bit older, at a different stage of their lives. I think that already makes a lot of differences, but. There are, of course, shared memories that we have when we toured with After Forever, opening for Nightwish back in 2002. So then we can, go for memories there. But in a day-to-day experience, not really.
Okay. Are you still in touch with the guys, or?
With some of them, yeah.
Okay. Well, you have, of course, ReVamp, but I guess they are lying low now, just for a bit.
Yeah, I mean. It's almost impossible to do things at the same time. I had to do that because Nightwish came in right at the moment we set the whole studio recordings. We were finishing up the writing process of the second album, which resulted into me going into the studio in between tours, preparing the album while touring, and right after the Nightwish tour ended, the ReVamp release was there. That was a lot, and I already had my burnouts. I'm not running for a second one, and I'm a 100% kind of person. So if I'm focusing on ReVamp, I'm focusing on ReVamp. But when I'm focusing on Nightwish, well, same thing. So that is why I don't see myself getting into any ReVamp-related things while still working on this album and touring with it. And once this tour ends, we have to see where everybody is. I'm not the only band member who has a busy life next to ReVamp. It would be fantastic if we could continue. I'm extremely proud of what we build up with these 2 albums. But in all honesty, I have no idea how the future will look like.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you too.